Hello and welcome. Here we are at Coming Into Being. This is your time, your space to just take that moment for yourselves to just chill and just be. Nothing else, really. So I'm going to send out my little message, say nothing else, and then we see what happens. Because when we come into that state of being and just being for ourselves with nothing more, then all sorts of things come up that need attention, so. And sometimes that what needs attention is just being present, being in the space, and not doing anything else. So that's the baseline of it. So let's take a nice deep breath in and then just release it. Letting it out. Letting yourself just settle into yourself. If you've got thoughts that are popping up, just kind of take another little deep breath into that and just release and blow them out. Let them out with the breath. And come back into your body, your physical being, your physical identity, your space and time here. Letting yourself relax. Just allowing ourselves to slow down in this moment. And Joni, hello, Joni. And if you're popping in and you'd like to say hello, you can do that in the chat. And Wisdom Happy, you were just in my dream. That was some book worksheet, okay? Sounds like homework to me. Yeah. So coming into the breath, letting our breath kind of slow down a little bit more as we come into that, just that awareness of ourselves, we tend to slow down anyways. When we get out of our heads and stuff, what's going on, we slow down. And you can maybe feel all of you kind of just getting, just the weight coming in. It's not that you're fat or overweight, but you feel the weight of your body, and it kind of pulls you down and you get anchored in. There's some unwinding that's going up. There's a little bit of emotional stuff that's coming up. So let's just stay with the focus on the breath and relaxing down. Carolina, hello. Letting that unwinding happen. Yeah, there's just this, I'm just going to follow it. Just kind of stay connected with your breath and your body. Be aware of your environment, yourself. Just releasing, just focusing on that release. On the exhale. There we go. Little shift that's happening for the group and in the space for the whole group. It's like this layer. We just pulled off this layer. Part of that layer was a little bit around feeling lost, not knowing where we're going. Hey, Tanya. Hello, I'm new to you and happy to be here. I'm good. Oh, nice. Welcome. And Est on the other side. Well, thank you for joining today. And so coming into the breath. So as I was saying, there's a layer just got pulled off of the whole group here in the group space. And part of that layer had to do, still shifting out beyond the space of the group. And Sydney, hello. Two big dogs again. Yay. It was this feeling of being lost, not knowing where to go, kind of being in a maybe stuck in a funnel and looking up and trying to move higher, but kind of being stuck in maybe what feels like a very narrow space. So this is it could be a metaphorical description for maybe what some people are feeling of your expression, your being, and not, just being so limited by what's around you, because what's around you is not supporting where you're at, and doesn't, I want to say, doesn't vibrate in the same way that you do, at the same level of understanding that you do. There's a lot of that going on for us, for everyone, because so much is shifting. So that can that will create a lot of disorientation, or can, and that feeling lost, feeling not knowing where you're going. So just come into yourself, hold on to yourself. The only thing you can really hold on to is yourself, your being. So how do you hold on to yourself? Well, you can literally, and I literally grab on to yourself, hold yourself. Like right now, just kind of put your arms around you. Kind of hard to do it with these flowers, but hold your arms, give yourself a hug, just feel yourself, just kind of like hold on tight, like you're holding on to yourself. Yeah. Just that. Yeah. So that's kind of giving you yourself that I'm here. I'm holding on to you, I'm holding on to you. It's like there's always that child part of us that is always with us. It's a question of if it's in a good place or not, and there's going to be times in life where that part of us is going to come forward because there's something that's getting activated, getting triggered in us from childhood conditions that we had, or maybe one moment in childhood. It doesn't have to be repeating. I think there's a misconception a bit out there that it's like repetition of a situation, but you just have it for 1 second in your life and it's nasty enough for you that it dents you up, and then you go into survival mode because you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the directives, you don't have the support, the guidance to move out of it in that moment, and you carry it through until finally excuse me. It's opening up the throat there. Until you hit that moment where that part of you that got dented feels that it is safe enough to start showing itself. I hope I don't have to get up and get a throat. It's irritation in the back throat, so it's a good sign. Not wanting to continue with how I'm living, not receiving money for 99% of my projects. Yeah, you've been doing that for a very long time. Yeah, there's a couple of items that are coming to mind relative to that, out beyond this. But anyways, so deep breath in. So that piece was cleared out. So it's still around the group space. So it means that there's still a little bit of it containing the group. So we're going to work to see if we can dismantle that for people, and it's in the process. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Hold it. Hold yourself. Grab yourself. Hold on. This is me. I'm not letting go of myself. And you can talk to yourself. I'm not letting go of you. You know, say your name. Asta, Sydney, Marianne, Tony. I'm not letting Joni, I'm not letting go of myself. Okay, and Sydney, just put aside writing down for a minute. And just, it's probably a little time lag, so there's a third message of yours that came up. So just put that aside. Connect with just yourself. There's a bigger issue that you are skipping over that's really showing itself now. And it's, yeah, it's interesting. I was looking at that earlier today, topic-wise, but hold on to yourself. Grab yourself. Stop grabbing at the external. So even in typing a message right now, that's a way of grabbing to the external because you don't want to hold on to yourself. You don't know, you're too scared to hold on to yourself. You don't feel you have the strength to hold on to yourself. It's been a habit to grab onto the external for support. Right now in this moment, put everything aside. Everything. It's scary as hell to just hold on to yourself and feel like you're standing on the top of a pin. But let's take that moment right now, because that is where you need to let yourself go. Come into your breath. Come into yourself. This is a big one. And you're standing either on the tip of a pin, the head of a pin, the tip of the mountaintop, pointy mountaintop, and there's barely enough room for maybe not even your whole foot. And just keep focusing on your breath. Ha! Holding on to yourself. Grab yourself if you haven't already. Feel that tactile, give yourself that tactile imprinting of you holding on to yourself. Nothing else will, nobody else will. You're the only one who can do this for yourself. No matter how much you have external support from, nobody can give this piece to you and really help you. Come into your solar plexus and put your awareness into your solar plexus. Yeah. Big layer there. And just put your hands on top of your whole solar plexus if you want. You don't know where your solar plexus is? It's right below where right between where your ribs separate out. Above your belly button. Something to understand is that that area connects up to the mental, so the head part. And keep breathing into that solar plexus and exhaling whatever you want to exhale out. And yeah, so we're working a lot of different pieces. So I'm going to just have everybody just stay in that solar plexus because there's different pieces that are coming up. Breathing, put your hands on there. Feel that heat. Give yourself that tactile impression, that physical tactile impression to help you stay anchored in there. And just stay exactly where you are. Everybody's doing really well. Focusing on the breath. Just releasing some deeper structures that need to be cleared out. The reason I say structures because it's literally how I see them. So structures can be about anything. It can be programs, it can be patterns, it can be just ways of being. It can be all sorts of things, but I see them as structures. So there's these old structures that are coming off that are relative to what we've been working through here. And this is interesting because part of what has composed these structures is what gets termed as the gilded cage. And the gilded cage is basically you're in a really good place and you're doing well, and that has a way of keeping us from being where we need to be to come into that deepest alignment and expression of ourselves. So when people have things that go well for them, or maybe they don't go so well, but maybe they've got a lot of money and they've got a nice house, they've got a relationship, um, and not necessarily a good relationship, but they've got a relationship. And so stepping outside of that cage, all of a sudden it's like, what do I do? There's nothing supporting the person anymore. So they stay in that gilded cage because it feels comfortable. It's nice. It works well enough. So there's a component there. That's shifting out for people here. Yeah. And probably everybody has some aspect of this golden cage piece. Some people might have more of it than others, or it's encompassing more of different areas of their lives. So this is kind of an invitation to take a look at where you're feeling too comfortable with yourself to make a change. And it's not about being in a good place. It's about being in a place that is comfortable because that's the only thing you know. You've been doing it for so long, you just have it down. You know exactly A, B, C, and D. You know what's going to happen. You know how to step through it, but you don't really get out of it. You just kind of keep going. So it's not about being in a good place. It's about being comfortable. You know, it's kind of like being the couch potato. You're sitting in front of the TV. You know, you got to get up and exercise, but damn, you feel so comfortable on that couch, even though you also feel like shit because you're overweight, you're not eating right, whatever, but you still stay in that couch. So deep breath in, yeah. Tanya, for some reason, this is kind of feel like that's hitting you. You're not the only one, but you're kind of coming up there. And maybe it's some light bulbs are going off for you, so that's good. I think everybody's got a little piece in here. Not necessarily really big, but it's always good to get to those fine-tuning ourselves to really clear out those little things. Yeah, Asta, you're kind of coming up with this too. Some little way that we're comfortable, you know, and it could be just every morning you have the same routine when you get up, because then it just makes it easy, fall into place. So I'm not saying necessarily go change your routine in the morning immediately, because sometimes we do that out of anxiety. So it's to help us kind of manage the anxiety. But some morning when you don't have anything else to do, so in this example, when you don't have anything lined up, like having to go to work or something, for example, make yourself do it differently. Make yourself do it completely backwards from what you would normally do, just to break that habit of what's comfortable. Because comfortable might not be the best thing for you to do. And just to help break out of that and start to open up and to more possibilities, seeing things differently, doing things differently. Okay, deep breath in. Coming, still being in the solar plexus with your hand there. If you've moved, I think maybe I had you grab yourself. That's fine. Bring your hands back to your solar plexus. Sinking down, letting your awareness drop down with the breath into that lower, below the ribs, solar plexus. Let's move it down to the lower abdomen. So if you're no chakras, the second chakra area, but basically that whole area, hips and pelvic floor, and so where the gut is. Yeah. That's bringing up a lot of stuff. Okay, we've got a good clearing session today for people. Yeah, a lot of deep stuff coming up. And wow, does that feel really prickly? People, if there's anybody having gut issues or stuff like irritable bowel kind of things, stuff with the gut, yeah, prickly. Just could be also like parasite type stuff. This doesn't have to be just at the physical level. Also, it can be at the it might not have manifested into the physical level, but there's that irritation that's really coming in from the mental level. So lower abdomen with your hands. You can have one hand on your solar plexus and one hand on your kind of second chakra area between your hips, or both hands in that area between your hips if you want. See what feels better for you. Wow. Yeah, Tanya, you got a lot going on here. So, not saying other people don't, but people will pop up more than others, but they're kind of also leading the pack, so to speak, with different stuff. So, um, yeah, you've got a lot of. So I'm not saying this is physical. This feels more, well, if there is a physical component for you, then, but what I'm tapping into is that deeper non-physical piece. But you've got a lot of entities, we could call them interdimensional beings, if you have a sense of what those are. I think you do. But basically, things that are sucking the life out of you, like little suckers. And that's what parasites are. They just like sitting there. You got their little claws into your, just to make it real tangible for everybody. It's like they get their little, their little teeth are just clamping into your gut, walls of your gut. So deep breath in. Let's shift that piece, or at least start to open up the door for that to release. And watch your thoughts as we're working here. And yeah, so watching your thoughts, but not letting yourself get pulled into it in any way. Just coming back, focusing on your breath. Ah! Okay. Yep. Just kind of keep at it. I'm going to actually, before I say anything, I'm going to just finish this piece. Yeah. That's kind of relaxing out. That feels good. There's still a bit shifting, but there's just kind of been this opening, this release that's happening. So if you feel this relaxation coming in, the brightness coming in, yeah, that's the beginning of that. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. A lot of, yeah, so kind of mental patterns, just uh, anger, rage, but really staying mental about it also. So there's kind of this mental holding lock on these emotions, these people, on people feeling the emotion of anger and rage. Yeah. I'll get to your question in a minute, Wisdom Happy. Yeah, slowly dissolving. So we're just gonna keep focusing on that breath, holding yourself, however you want to hold yourself. We're down with the hands in the lower abdomen, lower solar plexus, lower abdomen. But if you want to, like, hold on tighter, hold on, feel more of that holding on. Yeah, do that. That feels right. We're getting there. Yeah. And if there's other emotions coming up, because I'm feeling in the space of, even just crying, just like crying, kind of a realization of where you've been for so long, So that's hard, but that's a good place to be, because that means that you're waking up to this, and when we wake up to something, then we can shift out of it. Oh, yeah. There we go. Allowing yourself to just release, let go, surrender, relax. Okay, very nice. Just kind of sit a little bit longer here. There's new structures generating right now, so kind of let that unfold. It's a very, very deep clearing. It's kind of funny because didn't, doesn't seem like it at the beginning. I mean, it feels good. You know, it feels like it supports stuff, but we really went pretty deep here. And I always realize it at the end when you're coming out of it, the depth to which you went. Yeah. Yeah, very nice. We're going to sit here for a little bit, just give a little bit of recovery time to just integrate before we get off the call. We've got time, anyways. So, Wisdom Happy, why don't you, in this moment, just kind of ponder your question there. What's your sense of why the sacral chakra, the second chakra area for you? And her question was a question without a question mark, but kind of question. Wanted to know when they put psychic cords in, why both times sacral chakra area to control the brain as opposed to other areas. Okay. Well, wherever you're getting plugged into, you're getting controlled. Your whole system is getting controlled. Why a particular area will depend on the person, and maybe basically an area of weakness where you're not strong enough in yourself. It's an easy way in with you. It happens to be the sacral chakra. And probably what you're not noticing is that when you're getting plugged into the sacral chakra, you're also getting plugged into the back of the head at the same time. But ultimately, doesn't matter where. As soon as you're plugged into, you're being controlled. That simple. But ponder that one for yourself. What is it about you and your soul, just the second chakra area? What is that about for you? Why is that an area of weakness that would get tapped into more than another area? And you're actually getting tapped into other areas, but you're noticing it really strongly there, because that starts triggering other areas. And often, so I'll give an example that's not exactly the same, but just to give you food for thought there for yourself and for everybody else. I've had people come to me, it's like, oh, my heart, da da da, it's like whatever. It's like feels congested in here, it feels tight in here, and I look at them and it's like third chakra, solar plexus, go down there. Then they go down there. It's like boom, because that area is such a mess that it starts to pull on something else. It's like their third chakra is so clogged up, they're not breathing in that area. It's not flowing in that area. Well, it starts to pull on something else. It starts to pull on, especially what's above it, but it could be pulling on what's below it as well. So in terms of the chakras, so that's a little easier to talk about, but third chakra, solar plexus. So if that's all clogged up, it's going to be pulling on tweaking the second chakra as well as the first. It's going to be tweaking the fourth chakra. And so people who, especially like if people are really open-hearted, or if that's an important piece for them to be open and loving, this is where they're going to feel easy. easy to manipulate. Why not my brain and heart? But the question, Wisdom Happy, is why for you are you easy to manipulate in that second chakra? What does that say about you? About weak area for you? How is the second chakra weak, and how is that showing up in your life? Because again, any area of your body, if it's weak, is an easy way to manipulate you. So easy to manipulate, you can hand that over to anybody who's getting tapped into. But why for you is it the second chakra? What is it about the second chakra? Why is that area, so why is the second chakra, why is that area weak for you? What's going on in your life? What is not happening in your life? How is that distorted in your life? What is the second chakra area about in general terms? And I say general terms because there's different models out there. So I'm, people might have different models, but different approaches. Okay, second chakra is about relationship, connection to other. That's one thing. And look at all the stuff that you've had, this thing that we've talked a lot about, this twin soul thing, twin flame. Boom. You are for whatever reason. I'm not saying that's wrong, but there's been a lot of this, that twin flame thing, and then you also have a twin too. So that kind of reinforces that linking up through relationship. If you aren't able to hold yourself strong, even in a twin flame relationship, even with a twin relationship where you're not strong in your own identity, that's an area of weakness. How you connect and how you relate to other people. It's like, okay, let's plug into her because she's really just really open down there. We can just suck the hell out of her down there. Let's just plug into that second chakra area. Boom. And again, you notice the second chakra, but you're probably not noticing the plug-in into the back of your neck. So it's happening at the same time. But the weak area is the second chakra. So I hope that makes sense. All right, let's take a nice deep breath in. Tanya, I think you got a bit cleared out there for you, and that's good. A little bit disoriented, but you're in a new place, and metaphorically, you're standing above it. You're above all this stuff that you cleared out. So don't get too fixated on what cleared out. Maybe notice it, but just kind of like look up, look forward. Don't stay looking down too much and trying to analyze and because that will pull you right back into it. Sydney, I have to look up the information. I will get back to you because I'll send you a little message post facto here. I have to look up the title precisely of what I think you need to listen to. And let's see. Asta, you're doing good. Yeah, Asta, so that came up earlier. Just there's a little bit of this piece of like anxiety, discomfort. Discomfort, we all have that when we're not when we hit those areas when we're not feeling secure about ourselves. So look at those areas, or one area, where it's like, I don't really feel comfortable or strong or with myself there. So take a look at that and just work on it. Just It's just like, let's look at this. How can I make myself um, stronger, more confident with yourself? Let's see, anything else that's coming up for other people? Da, 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 da. Joni, yeah, it feels like it's a little bit of that piece of feeling a little bit closed in at the heart. And this, I'm not going to go say, go open your heart up, go clear your out. Just take a look at what's needing you to be just pulled in. Give yourself that space and connect with that. And just that part of you that feels like you need to pull in a little bit. Maybe it just needs to, you just need to, it's sort of like that inner child and just needing to connect with it, be with it. That's all. So it's not about opening our hearts to the rest of the world. It's about opening our hearts to ourselves and connecting with that deeper aspect of ourselves. Let's see, Carolina, let's see what is, if there's anything for you. I would say to get grounded a little bit. Right now you're showing up as kind of a little bit happy-go-lucky, but in a disjointed way, in a non-grounded way. So not really grounded. Not fully with yourself. And basically that lower chakra, I know you're working through a lot of, you're working through that stuff. Second, so if we're talking about chakras, because just for that reference point, and ease of talking is second and first chakra, legs, bringing your awareness more and more into that. So it's always work in progress. You know, we cannot expect ourselves to just go ram through and clear out trauma or abuse or neglect or what pain, suffering that we've had. Because what you're doing is you're going in with the exact same energy that it went in. So if you got boom, and you're going, all right, we're going to clear this out, boom, you know, you're doing exactly the same thing. It's going to make you even more, pull in even more to yourself and contain yourself more, right? Oh, and the other piece about your brain, your head, you're floating out in space, and actually, that's also the connection with the brain and the second chakras, because you're kind of out there, so you kind of, you know, there's a little bit of that going on for you too. Okay, let's take a nice deep breath in, and as we do that, I remember. Put on my little QR code for those of you who would like to just throw in a little donation if you're inclined to do so for the session. All right, let's settle in back into that beauty of our beings. A lot of stuff, as we've talked about, would come up, and that's just what we're experiencing. It's not us. So learning to make that difference and separate out, because then it's a lot easier to just say, you know, that's just something I experienced. That's okay. Yeah. You're welcome, Asta. Good to have you, as always, join. So sitting into that, just that beauty of who you are, that light, that joy, relaxing into yourself, your being, your pure being. It's always there to relax into. It's like we just kind of get off somewhere else. There we go. Very nice. All right. Good job, everybody. Next Wednesday is the 7th. I am going to meet up with a friend out of town. So I might be back in time, but I'd rather not do that. So, so we're off on the 7th, May 7th, and it will be posted as being off on YouTube, and I'll do that on Instagram as well, just as a reminder. But the following week, whatever day that is, so I guess the 14th and 15th, we will be back. All right, good job, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. We're here every Wednesday, except on the 7th, but generally here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Paris Central European Time. So thanks a lot for joining in, and have a good rest of your week. So we'll see you next time or wherever else we meet up, definitely in the ethers. All right, take care, everybody.